In the last session, I have shown about how to access the Snowflake, and I explained about the Snowflake Web UI. Right here, just now reopened it again. You can see this is the Snowflake Web UI I have explained here, right? And you can see as of now, it has consumed 2 credits. Okay, and again 26 days are there for free trial. Okay, next we'll see about the editions. That means what are the different editions are available while opening the Snowflake account, and another one it is virtual warehouses. What are the different what we will see about in-depth concept about the virtual warehouses here. Okay, first see about the editions. And here in this concept under the virtual warehouses, I have shown you in the yesterday class itself how to open the warehouse and what are the warehouses are available. And here in this one we will see in-depth concept. Okay, but before that one we'll see about the editions. Okay, while opening the Snowflake account, we already seen standard, enterprise, and business criticals. In generally these three will be shown. Okay, but apart from that one we will have one more also, virtual private Snowflake, that is VPS. In generally larger organizations, they will take the access permissions on this. Okay, first we'll see here. First standard, it is complete SQL data warehouse. So whatever the features we have under the standard, apart from that one, these are the some additional features available under the enterprises. Okay, and standard enterprises, whatever we have here, all the features, apart from all this, business critical have extra features on this. Okay, this is base, advanced, most advanced, like that it is. So okay, complete SQL data warehouse. In generally, for learning purpose, this is sufficient, but or else we can take this one also. Enterprise editions. I have created the account by using enterprise edition. Okay, complete SQL data warehouse. So you can able to execute all the SQL queries under the SQL data warehouse. Okay, secure data sharing across regions or clouds. Okay, you can share your data within the different regions. You have created an account under one region and you can able to share into the other region by using the standard warehouse. Okay, and as premier support for 24 by 365 days. Okay, you can get any support from Snowflake account even for the very base version here. Okay, 1 day of time travel. I will explain in detail about time travel. So actually the concept of time travel, it is, suppose if you wanted to go back and retrieve the data, you can go up to 1 day. Okay, and here under the enterprise edition, up to 90 days, you can go up to 90 days back and then retrieve the data. But here they are maintaining the data up to 1 day only for the standard edition. Okay, always always on enterprise grade encryption in transit and at rest. So all the data has to be encrypted here. Okay, and a customer dedicated virtual warehouses will be available under even under the standard edition. Okay, the concept, it is about having the virtual warehouses only. So even from the standard editions itself we have this federated authentication. Authentication is mandatory, so just to validate the credentials and everything that can be maintained from the standard edition. Database replication, you can replicate the data. Suppose you have a data and you wanted to clone that one, you wanted to replicate the same thing into the other DB, that you can able to do that one by using the standard edition. And you can create external functions. By using the external functions, you can able to call outside the environment. That means a function means it can return something, and external function means something you wanted to send into the other regions, something AWS or something GCP from other regions. So from other environment, if they can able to call here, and they can fetch the data from here. For that one we need to create the external function that you can achieve by here. And the snowset is not nothing but it's a web UI that we can see here by using the standard edition. Create your own data exchange. You can exchange your data under the standard edition itself. Data marketplace access. So even you can see here data marketplace, here it is. Okay, so it will redirect to the other page. Suppose if you wanted to connect with other services, okay, that you can see under the marketplace. Okay, All these are under the standard edition. Apart from this, we have few more extra features under the enterprises. So that is the reason you can see standard plus. Apart from all this, multi-cluster warehouse. Okay, multi-cluster warehouses will be available under the enterprise edition. Up to 90 days of time travel it is there. Here you can see 1 day, but here it is. If you select the enterprise edition, it can support up to 90 days. Annual rekeying of all encrypted data. So in generally, how the data will be maintained, it is in the encrypted format, right? So after encrypting, what internally do in the Snowflake itself, in the under the enterprise edition, after 1 year, the encrypted data can be maintained uh, by like a key pair format. Those key pair formats, those keys can be rekeyed. That means those encrypted will be changed and they can be encrypted in another encrypted format. So initial load cannot contain throughout years. Okay. After completing the 1 year, those encryption will be changed into the another encrypted format. That we call as a rekeying of all encrypted data. So that one, even with no one can able to decrypt it here direct. So those encryption will be maintained very strictly here. And in materialized views, I will explain in detail about the materialized views later. So you can able to create the views, materialized views under the enterprise edition. Search optimization service. You can able to search here for the different services under the search optimization service. Dynamic data masking. This is a new concept under the Snowflake. I will explain later in depth. Okay, external data tokenization. This is also available under the enterprise edition. And apart from all this, we have one more one, that is business critical. So that is the reason enterprise plus HIPAA support. This is third party support that we can able to do get under the business critical. And a PCI compliance. Okay, any issues you can complain. Suppose if you want to do a report, that you can do by under the PCI. Data encryption everywhere. Okay, throughout data, all the levels you can achieve. uh, 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 you can get encrypted data under the data encryption everywhere here. Try secret secured using customer managed keys. Okay, here annually, right? This can be try secret secure using customer managed keys. So here customer managed keys is there, server managed keys is there. That those keys, that means customer level key managed keys, can be provided under the business critical environment. And another one, it is AWS private link support. Directly you can able to connect to the AWS environment, and then you can get your support. That facility is available under the business critical. But for the 24 by 7, you can get the support from the standard edition. But if you wanted to get from the Snowflake, if you wanted to connect to the AWS support, that you can achieve by from the business critical environment. And similarly, Azure also, Azure private link support, database failover and failback for business continuity. That means suppose if you have any errors, if you wanted to go back and if you wanted to restore, and then if something data has collapsed, and if you want to go back and then to restore those data, those can be achieved under the business critical environment. This feature is not available under the standard and enterprise edition. External functions, that is AWS API gateway private endpoints of support. That means these APIs, that means if you want to connect to the AWS environment or GCP, those can be achieved under the business critical environment. Okay, and this is apart from the highest level, it is business critical plus it is virtual private Snowflake VPS, customer dedicated virtual servers wherever the encryption key is in memory. Okay, this is an extreme level of supporting. If they need any organization, then they will go with the VPS, or else in generally majority of them they will go with the business critical. Customer dedicated metadata. Okay, this is also available under the VPS. Okay, and if you wanted to see in detail about additions and their support, just go to this link, copy and paste here, and you can see Snowflake additions. Okay, and here before going to explain all this, here you can see docs.snowflake.com. So here you can see all the concepts, and the tutorials and everything will be available under the docs.snowflake. Okay, architectures, cloud platforms, and suppose data management, data cycle. Yeah, if you go to user guides, you can see in details also. If you expand it, data integration, if you wanted to see here, Snowflake open flow. Okay, so suppose if you wanted to learn about the virtual warehouses, just click on it here. Click on overview. You can see in detail about the overview of warehouses. What is multi-cluster considerations? Suppose if you wanted to go in deep and if you wanted to learn from the scratch or something in theory part, just to, no need to maintain any other documents. Just go through the Snowflake document itself here. Okay, working with warehouses. What are the different warehouses are there? How to write the queries and everything will be available under the docs.snowflake.com. And here you can see under the guides. Okay, and when we start before that getting started, that time you can see these editions, what are the different editions are available, what are the releases and features, these details. But the remaining concept, everything is available under the guides. Okay, okay, now I'm going to virtual warehouses. Okay, this is very very important concept. Okay, without knowing the virtual warehouses we can't go ahead, and the majority of the interview also they will ask the questions onto the virtual warehouses only. Okay, yeah, this is the architecture deck. Yeah, please. Something, something has opened. Okay, sorry. Yeah, you can see the high level architecture diagram of the virtual warehouse. As I already told, there are three layers in a Snowflake. One, it is a cloud storage layer, there is a database layer, and then there is a compute layer, that is compute services. Though here itself we can see the virtual warehouses, and on top of it we have a cloud service layer. From here we can able to connect to the Snowflake. There are three different layers which is available under the Snowflake. I already told about something about this, but we'll explain very briefly here. First, it's a cloud storage layer where we will store our the complete data details under the databases. Okay, so you can see this is a layer. Okay, so after storing the data, suppose if you wanted to retrieve the data, you have to perform some select queries, update queries, or delete queries, insert queries. When you perform those queries, then only you can able to insert the data under the cloud storage, whether the storage is either in the AWS or GCP or Azure, right? So this platform can be available in any of the three services, but to connect to this and to insert or update or retrieve the data, we have to perform the queries. Those queries can be performed under this layer, compute serviceless layer. So to perform those queries, we have to use virtual warehouse. Okay, so from under the virtual warehouse itself, we will perform our query and then to connect to the DB and then either insert or delete or update or retrieve. Everything can be done from the virtual warehouse only. A virtual warehouse is a cluster of one or more compute resources used to process queries and other DML operations. Just now I told you, right? To connect to this and to perform these DML operations, we have to use virtual warehouse. Okay, it is nothing but uses of the CPU or RAM, those the details, right? Nothing but it is. So this layer is interconnected with the cloud services layer. Okay, cloud service layer is on top of it here, under the above of the compute services. So whenever user connects, first it will connect to the access layer. This is a brain to the Snowflake. So every instructions can be comes from the cloud service layer only. Okay, this is nothing but it's a body. Okay, everything, the actions can be done under the compute service layer. So after connecting to the access layer, the infrastructure management or transaction management or optimizer or security, all these features can be able to achieve under the cloud service layer. So whether you wanted to use X large or triple X large or double X large or 5x or 6x, whatever you wanted to use the virtual warehouse, those configurations can be done here. And complete management data, that is transaction managed data, can be handled at the cloud service layer only. And the security also can be managed. That means authentication, authorization, and user roles, and metadata management. Suppose you have a 1 billion record, and no need to search the complete 1 billion record every time, the total count, those details. That means very high level details. Suppose this table has this many, these many rows, and this much of data has occupied this many, this much of memory size is allotted for this table. Those metadata, the schema details, will be managed under the cloud service layer. Suppose even if you have a small table, the small table details, the table name, what is the cluster key you have assigned, and how many partitions are there, what is the total size of there, how many number of rows are there, those details can be managed as a metadata. Those metadata details will be available under the cloud service. Okay, so this is a high level architecture of the Snowflake. So under this, now the concept comes under the virtual warehouse. Why we are using the virtual warehouse? Virtual warehouse is nothing but it's an integral part of the Snowflake. So okay, so by using the virtual warehouse, we are interacting to the database, and then we are performing our DML operations. Okay, but here the advantage of the virtual warehouse, suppose in the earlier, that means, or in the on-prem application, suppose if you have a suppose if you perform a select query. Okay, so suppose here in the DB you have something 1 million record. It may take long time, right? So but here you can able to extend or scale up the virtual warehouses. So you can see here we have only one virtual warehouse. You can extend to two, or you even you can able to double this one, two double to four, total four virtual warehouses. So that based on the number of rows or the query taking performance, the virtual warehouse size can be increased automatically. So initially, suppose for one virtual warehouse, if it is taking 10 minutes staff time, if we have a four virtual warehouses, it can take only 2 minutes to fetch the data. That's how the query will run internally. Okay, so it won't take much time, and we don't have a problem of query fetching problem here. Okay, those issues can be resolved under the by using the virtual warehouses. Okay, and the benefits of data warehouse. Sorry, hello. Yeah, benefits of Snowflake data warehouse, and these are the advantages of the data warehouse. First, it's a machine size. Okay, so you don't need to maintain anything. That means the machine size can be allotted by the data warehouse itself. Under disk space problems, under security problems, recovery from a disaster. Suppose if you have any issue, and the complete data has uh, gone, something has happened. Okay, something on you have updated with a truncated query, or something disaster has come, and everything has come collapsed. Then also you don't have to worry here. You can able to fetch the data from last 30 days, or from last 1 day, or from last 90 days, like that one. We have a facility to retrieve the data by using the fail-safe method. Okay, that can be achieved by using the Snowflake data warehouse. And the tuning and maintenance problem, and everything maintenance can be done by the Snowflake data warehouse itself. Concurrency, suppose if you wanted to run multiple parallel queries, then it can be handled by using the virtual warehouse. And the performance can be improved very lot. Just now I explained there on the top. If it is initially taking 10 minutes start time, if you have a four virtual warehouses, it can take only 2 to 2.5 minutes itself. Okay, each virtual warehouse can be split into the separately, and it can perform that operation, and then to complete as a one single set of selected query. And then software updates that can be achievable by the Snowflake itself. So these all these features can be provided by the data warehouse itself.